masses.
And now for something completely different.
There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? And what did we learn? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into.
The Craig L. Hayes Show. Just thinking, where we talk about everything else.
Well, hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, Just Thinking, where we talk about everything else. July 24th, 2026 is the date, and we are coming to you live, all the way live, from the Northern Command Center here in Enterprise, Utah. And today's subject matter is going to be called Cultural Marxism, as it refers to what's going on at the Smithsonian. Did you guys happen to see the woman who's like the head of the Smithsonian was before the Senate, and boy, was she useless. And she epitomizes why this nation is in decline on so many fronts, and why we need to get rid of the Democrat Party. We need to get rid of their ideology. We need to make sure Democrats are, just cubby hold someplace. Maybe put them someplace, I don't care, maybe in New York, or, how much more damage can they do? They've hired this Muslim terrorist, Islamist communist to be their mayor, and he's doing an awesome job. Wait a second, he's promised all these things, free buses, that hasn't happened. He's promised grocery stores, that hasn't happened. Well, he's doing a great job. He is so good at doing the job. And he came out and he said how good his stuff is going better than he could have even imagined, which is amazing. He's only been in there a few months, and everything that he's fixed is mind-blowing. He's done a good job. And I'm being very sarcastic, because he's done absolutely nothing except make the living conditions and the finance system there in New York City even worse. And he doesn't care, because Democrats don't care. Ideology and party first. Ideology, party, power, that's always first. Now, benefit to the people, well, if it does, cool. If it doesn't, we don't care, as long as we have the benefit of power, party, and never-ending party and power. That's how the Democrat Party rolls, baby. Disgusting, and evil. Because they are the communist Democrat Party. But let's look at the Smithsonian. Smithsonian, this is the nation's museum that is supposed to show everything about our nation. If you've never been there, you need to go. Even if they have all this crap, Marxist cultural crap, anti-American crap, woke stuff, DEI, ESG, anything alphabet in there, you still need to go and just look at some of the stuff that's in there and see how big it is. I could never believe how big it was when I was there many years ago. And I think they've added on since then. I was there in 78, 79. And it is massive. It is unbelievably big, filled with so many things. And at the time, it was always talking about the nation's history, and told about our history, told about what we've accomplished, and that's what it's for. That's what a museum is for. But did you know that under the Democrats, using their cultural Marxism ideology, because that's what it is, all these things that I mentioned, the DEI, wokeism, ESG, all these different alphabetical things, it's all part of cultural Marxism. Demean, destroy American history and American greatness, and replace it with everything else, from transgender beliefs, LGBTQ crap, climate crap, the lies of climate change, the lies of all the stuff that goes on that the Democrat Communist Party believes in. We're going to put that in as this is our history and this is our fact. No, it's not our history and it's not a fact. None of that is. You know what is history that isn't in there? Our founding fathers. Not one founding father is in there right now. You can't find George Washington. You can't find John Adams. You can't find Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin. You can't find any of them. But you can find a lot of information about transgenderism, about the LGBTQ, struggles and strife. But you can't find anything that has to do with the actual American history. Believe me, I want to see the bad stuff in a museum too. I want us showing what we did wrong as a nation, the horrible things that we as a nation did to the Native Americans here. I want us to show what people like Woodrow Wilson did to the Germans during World War I in our country. I want us to show what Franklin Delano Roosevelt did to the Japanese during World War II in our country. I want the I want the museum to show the struggles of black people after they have been freed from slavery by the Republicans, freed from Democrat slavery, because that's what it is, and we need to point it out that it's Democrats who were slave owners, not Republicans. We need to point that out. And we also need to tell the truth about a couple other things, like how many slave owners in the South that had plantations were black. You never hear that part about it. And I can't even remember the number, but it is a large number of black plantation owners owned slaves. The first slave owner in this nation was a black man who bought another black man. We need to have that in that museum because it's a horrible part of our history, and it needs to be pointed out that the Abolitionist Party, which is the Republican Party, had to go to war with the Southern Democrats to free the slaves. There's no amount of apology that we can give to the Native Americans for what was done to them by kicking them off their lands and onto reservations, by the genocide that was committed on them. Did we learn anything? And have we tried to even correct any of it and fix the problems within the Native American community? To a point, yes, but so lacking still on that. What was done for the Japanese that were interned during World War II, who were citizens of America, born and raised here? They were legal citizens. They had been here for several generations. But 300,000 of them, or whatever it was rounded up. Their businesses were given to other people to run, and these Japanese were never given back their properties, except in some very rare cases where the people in the community that hated seeing what was going on protected their businesses. And when they finally got released, because the Supreme Court finally went, you can't just arrest people because they have ancestors from Japan and put them in, concentration camps, basically. Now, I would have gone, duh, really? You just can't put people in jail and they haven't committed any crime other than they had been born with a certain genetic disposition towards nationality of an enemy that we're fighting? Huh. Weird. That is so weird. I think we need to have a section of the museum, and this is going to be me being a smartass, okay? We have to have a certain amount of space in the museum put aside for great Muslims in United States history. Of course, you're going to find that there's none of them there. It's a very, very small room. Probably a little, 4x4 cube you could stick in there. Yes, I'm saying it about them, and I said it, and I meant it. I have no love for Islam and don't believe it to be an actual religion other than just a political movement. But that's another topic for another talk. We need to point out to the American people all the things that are going on. There's the great things that we've done. Look at all the stuff, the space travel we've done, the flight. Our military has freed billions of people from all around this. Billions of people are free because of American exceptionalism, American capitalism, American going to war and freeing them from fascism, from Germany, Italy, and imperialism from Japan. These things need to be pointed out. We need to show what the bombs that we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki look like. And we need to explain. And we need to have the pamphlets there that we dropped. Millions and millions of pamphlets saying, we have a new weapon and we're going to drop it on your city to end this war. Millions of these pamphlets were dropped on Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and a few others. Trying to get the people to move, trying to get the people to leave. The people were told they weren't allowed to and they had to stay there, and we ended up vaporizing 70,000 or 100,000 each time we dropped one of those bombs. Was that our fault? Absolutely not. I am glad we did it. I think the Japanese people are an amazing people, but their leadership took them down a path of total destruction. It's their leadership that should be blamed for what happened to them, not us. You started it, we finished it. End of story. And I want to make sure that we didn't lose another 1 million or 2 million of our citizens fighting against the Japanese. I was all for it. We need to show how we've done so many things around the world in freeing people. We'll start with how about us collapsing one of the greatest presidents of our nation, Ronald Reagan, collapsing the Soviet Union and freeing all those countries over there from Russia and their dictatorship over all of them. We need to show that. So many things. Do we also we show some of the things that would happen in our nation, like the Alamo? Yeah, we need to talk about that in there. We need to talk about the Mexican-American War, how we conquered Mexico, occupied Mexico City, and then turned around to Santa Ana and said, hey, and this is in the Treaty of Guadalupe, we're going to keep all this territory right here. Everything else down here is yours, and we're going to give you a whole bunch of millions of dollars to buy that land from you up there. Okay? He said, okay. End of war, end of story. We have California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, all that area down there. And everything north of those states. We're always told it was stolen. No, the Mexican army was conquered. Mexico was conquered. And then we turned around and instead of saying, since we've conquered you, we're going to keep it. Screw you. We don't care. It's ours now. No, we bought it from them. I think it was $23 million. We paid $23 million for all that land. I think I don't remember how much we paid for Alaska. We've laid out some pretty big checks back then for all the land that we got. Too bad it wasn't just given to the natives who actually lived on the land. It was theirs until we did the things we did. But it had to be. We had to be east to west, Pacific and Atlantic Ocean access, and what was it, Manifest Destiny? Things we've done have not always been pretty, but boy, look at what's been accomplished because we did them today. Look at the world, what it looks like because of it. Why aren't these things being talked about? Why isn't the truth not being talked about in the Smithsonian? But we're constantly being fed by a bunch of leftist, Marxist people who just have this culture thing where we have to take and demean and destroy America for the things we've done wrong and promote an ungodly ideology such as transgenderism and the LGBTQ communities. And the lies of, like we said before, global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it. Like we did it. Yeah, bullcrap. Man doesn't have the ability to do that unless we lit off every one of our nuclear bombs at the same time. Everyone did it. No, we could mess up the climate for a while doing that. But I'll help you with that right now. You're telling me that the people who live in this world, who are living their lives, just living their lives, polluting a little bit because that's what we do. Every time you breathe out carbon dioxide. I don't even think it's a poison or anything like that. I don't even think it's pollution. You know what it is? It's food for plants. That's what it is. It's food for plants. All done through photosynthesis. So don't believe the crap that you're hearing from so many of these Marxist cultural people. Cultural Marxism. That's what we'll call it. Lies, lies, and more lies. What else should we put in this Smithsonian? Should show everything that we've accomplished. I mean, there should be so many things in there. There should be a whole wing of that thing. It just shows American history, the good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing, the fantastic. It should be things explained as far as political parties, what they believe in, and the positives and negatives of every party, because every party has positives and negatives. It's just unfortunate that the Democrat Communist Party has almost all negatives and almost zero positives coming out of it. Perhaps they could show, all the different forms of political belief. And, I mean, there's so many things you could put in this thing and explain why America decided back in late 1700s to go with capitalism and a republic, a representative republic, rather than a democracy, rather than a theocracy, rather than a monarch running our nation. These are the things that could be in there and really just helping people understand why America is so incredible and so unique in the world. How about we do that and throw out the garbage that these cultural Marxists are putting in there? I think it's time to fire everybody that's running the Smithsonian and working there, and then putting in some people who are actually absolute down the road historians who don't promote one way or the other, but just report the true history of the nation. Don't try to color it and don't try to indoctrinate. Just tell us what happened. We will figure it out from there. We will make our decisions from there. We, as the citizens and the rulers of this land, will decide how it should affect our future. That would really be cool. Anyhow, we could probably go on. I could probably sit here and come up with a bunch of other ways of, a bunch of other things we could take and put in there, but it's unnecessary right now. You get the point, I hope. And I hope we understand that the dangers in this nation are there's actually people who are full-fledged believers in the crap that they promote to other people, especially in the Communist Democrat Party. They believe in taking this country down and installing communism / socialism, Marxism, fascism, whatever ism you want there, instead of constitutional representative republicanism, small r republicanism. They are just that insane. And they hate this country just that much. We need to get those things in the Smithsonian, exactly like I said, and teach true history and explain things. And don't be apologetic to anybody who doesn't deserve an apology. We don't say sorry to the people of Japan for bombing them. We explain why we did it, and it ended the war. And people dying, that's what happens in war, and that's what happens because your emperor and his people around him decided to go to war with us. Period. End of story. History lesson done. We do need to apologize to the people whose lives we've destroyed in this nation. And I named them all already. So, folks, the bulges go from there. Cultural Marxism, Smithsonian. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for listening, and hope today goes very well for you, and hopefully you keep listening to the show and subscribe and like and all that fun stuff, and I'll keep coming up with content and look at the other sites that I have, such as It's Showtime, The Craig L. Hayes Show, and Main Street, The Craig L. Hayes Show. Those all do different things compared to this. But this one is the one I kind of enjoy a lot myself. I like all of them. They're all very enjoyable. Anyways, folks, we'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You've been listening to the Craig L. Hayes Show.
That's me.
Just thinking.